services to JSW Steel Limited, Mumbai, in the capacity of Director of Sales and Marketing.
Emotional intelligence is you have to balance business, planet, and CSR issue. And that is basically what AI and machine learning and big data. Joined the Directors Institute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. My name is Tanayol, and I'm an anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry veterans to come together to share their knowledge, ideas, thoughts, and best practices with one another, as well as with upcoming industry leaders. We have one such industry stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Ashok Bharadwaj. We welcome you on the show, sir.
Oh, thank you.
He is giving his invaluable services to JSW Steel Limited, Mumbai, in the capacity of Director of Sales and Marketing, a role whereby his noticeable accomplishments include leading sales, marketing, and export functions for 10,000 crore or 2.7 million tons, where he achieved significant sales share increases in key segments, identified risks and opportunities in a VUCA environment, and made major contributions to rural market development and product diversification. So, sir, could you help our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far, leading you to your current designation of Director of Sales and Marketing at JSW Steel Limited?
Yeah. Thank you, Tanay, for your nice introduction. Referring to your question, if I look at, I'll try to put some key points that has helped me in my career journey. The basic issues, I had a good educational background with an engineering and a MBA from well-known universities in India. So that definitely helped me a lot as a door opener. But if I look at further, the way I targeted industries and companies for joining was that I was very clear in my mind that I have to use my experience and my background for looking for careers in companies. And my background was engineering and management, with specializations in mechanical or business management and all that. So I was clear I would try to look at industrial companies, B2B companies. So that was something that I was clear where my engineering and my management concepts can be used. So to be specific, I was clear that I was not interested in FMCG companies because that was not in my area. Neither was I interested in finance because that was not my area of expertise. So other than that, I was looking at industrial companies, and accordingly, I went about building my career. But now once I started, let's say, see, I had joined at the within my background. I had joined at the lowest areas. Like after engineering, I joined as a graduate engineer trainee. After management, I joined as a management trainee. So I could understand the issues from the ground level. And with regard to my postings and my various job assignments, I have worked in area office, in the field. Then I have worked in the branch. I have worked in the region, and then also at the headquarters. So these experiences gave me a full understanding of how an organization works or how it needs to develop and grow once I reach the headquarters. So it's very important to understand the field and the branch and the area office views when you're at the headquarters. So that was a key to take me forward. Then my functional expertise, and you have to look at it in a sequence. The functional areas that I kind of built on. So initially it was sales, which helped me understand the customer experience, how they look at things, how you need to keep them satisfied, how to bring customer loyalty. So these issues I learned. And then after that, from sales, I went to marketing. So there you look at a broader perspective. It's not clearly just sales. You have to see how you can develop the market and all that. And then sales and marketing together. So there you have to look at both the things together, how you get your results and also how you build demand. No? So these issues were there. And then I got into strategy where you, but before strategy was also business and product development. So in a way, it is linked to strategy. So that also helped me understand, having done all these, how do you build a strategy for the company? That becomes more of an overview. Yeah. And then also I was handling domestic and also exports. So you understand what are the issues in domestic market, what are the issues in the overseas markets that you have to look at. And then, of course, multi-functional project management, where you have to take various teams together for achieving results. So this was the how I progressed on my functional areas or functional expertise. That gave me a good understanding and I would say benefit. Yeah. And then finally, my approach to management, which is you can say, or you can say my style of management. Yeah, it was more interactive. It was more transactional. Yeah, with the focus on team building, with the focus on providing good service to the customers. Yeah. So these were the issues that I was, it got engraved in me while I was working. So I would say these were the important things that helped me in my career journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from that, what you already mentioned in terms of looking at aspects like VUCA, like you said, segment focus, risks and opportunities. So these things you look at as you go along in the organization and you start addressing issues. No? So I would say these were some of my key points for the career journey. Yeah, I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. So, which of your roles and responsibilities do you think have been the most pivotal in your professional life?
Yeah, here again, I would say the way things progressed, my functional addressing of various functions. Like I already said, sales and marketing, business development strategy. Then you head a business, yeah. And after heading a business, then you become a director. So that I went through that journey. So each role and each responsibility was important because they all come with KRAs and KPIs and expectations from the management, which we need to fulfill before you move on to the next function. Project management also helped me a lot to get a total overview of the organization and how it works in different teams. Yeah. Other big issue was, I would say, regional postings or postings in remote areas in the early stages of my career, because you see the customer at very close quarters. You interact with him, you understand his expectations, and then you try to satisfy him. There is a customer experience that is involved. So these service orientation, that is after you sell, how do you keep him with you by providing him good service? So these are certain basic issues on sales, marketing and customer management. I know which the role really helped me to understand the depth of the organization. Like you have finally, the revenues come from the customer, so all that the organization runs is because of the money coming from the customer. So this basic truth, or I would say the moment of truth, one needs to understand. Yeah. Other issue was I always try to provide an entrepreneurial approach to my whatever role responsibility I was handling, as in treat it as your own company, and you look for growth, you look for profit and loss issues, yeah, growth, revenue growth, and all that. So that comes with an entrepreneurial approach. You have to be loyal to the company that you join. The company objectives are primary. You may be having your own thoughts and views, but finally you have to fulfill the company objectives. Yeah. So that was another important issue in my roles and responsibilities. Then, of course, you have to fulfill your responsibility as the head of the family. Yeah, that is also very, very important. So while you're doing all this, you should take care of that role of taking care of your family, having a good work-life balance. So for that, you need to have different interests in life. It is always not only work, and it is also not only play. So you have to have a proper balance. So each of these roles, I would say, and responsibilities have been important and have been pivotal in the growth of my professional career.
So, what do you consider to be your professional life's biggest learnings?
Professional life learnings, okay. See, it takes time to understand certain issues. Yeah. It's not that you understand it immediately. Yeah. Especially when you're coming from a field level and growing in the organization. So if I were to prioritize, yeah, in some kind of priority, I'll put the points. One is, I think very important is emotional intelligence. Yeah, or you can say the emotional quotient versus intelligence quotient or IQ or technical quotient or TQ, whatever you call it. They're all important, but as you have to grow in the organization and understand people, build teams, emotional intelligence is very, very important. I would say that was my most important learning. Technically and academically, you might be very good and you can argue out various things well. But unless you're emotionally intelligent, where you understand the other person's views, where you understand the expectations of others, then only then I think you start growing. Other issue is team building versus individual performance. This is one key learning, I would say, because there is a conflict between the two. You have to encourage individual performance because there are people whom you would like to promote and grow, and they are the people who can run your organization in the future. But at the same time, you have to also take care of team building and team performance. So this is a balance that you need to achieve. There are some conflicts on the way which you need to resolve. And I think that is another very important issue one has to take care of. Then there is, of course, an important issue in a company of result orientation. Yeah. When you're young, you've just joined the organization, you don't understand what result orientation is. But as you go along, you know that there are company objectives, company targets you have to fulfill. You have to get a lot of things done on the ground. There might be a strategy, but unless it is properly implemented and executed, it takes you nowhere. So result orientation and target fulfillment are very important aspects in any organization, I would say. Yeah. Then comes to little bit getting into detail is are issues like process orientation, or you can say standard operating procedures for getting the jobs done. Because if you get an instruction to get a job done, one is you just jump into it and try to get the job done. There you might achieve, you might get the job done, but you may not get it done properly. You may not get it done well. So you have to evolve a process, because at the end, even if you're not there, the job has to be done. Secondly, the team has to develop and the team has to work together. So all that comes with having a process orientation. You define your process. If I have to go from A to B, what should be the process of going from A to B? And for that, you have standard operating procedures. So putting that in place is also, I think, very important. So I would say these are the four work-life balance, which I already talked about. You can't be working for 15 hours a day and not take care of your family requirements. That results in a lot of conflicts. And when conflicts happen, whether in your professional career or your personal career, they create problems for you. So I would say these are some of my learnings. Yeah. Basic issues, of course, but it takes time to actually understand and internalize it within you. One more thing I would like to say,
Please.
what I in key learnings, it is very important an issue of other than sales, marketing, market development, and so many other functions that I talked about, strategy, team building, online brand building is very important. You know, whether it is your company, your product, yourself, your boss, you have to build his brand also. So there, I think it requires a lot of effort. And I have fortunately worked in companies where brand building, not only that I have contributed towards brand building, but also they were considered as important aspects of the business. So this is, I would say, a key learning. And if you want to grow your business, how do you grow it? It is not always just product development. It is also retail management. It is also building your network, building access in various geographies. They don't happen on their own. It has to, effort has to go on, to get it done. So I would say these are some of the key learnings. Yeah.
So my next question is, what kindled your interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Yeah. See, ESG is a term that has come up in the last 10 years, I would say. Yeah. But we have been consciously or subconsciously doing it before. Maybe we didn't call it ESG. So to that extent, I have been interested in it since my career began, I would say. Because I have primarily worked in two industries, automobiles and steel, and now in construction. Yeah. In all these three segments or all these three industries that I have worked with, the issues related to environment, social, and governance, they are very relevant and very material. So they contribute. If you don't address these issues, it might hurt you. Yeah, and you have to address these issues in some way or the other. So that is something that I learned very early in my career. Like for example, if I talk of auto, product development is important. Product development is driven by your company's objectives, which is one thing, that you want to build a better product, a more green product. Yeah, there are company objectives. There are also regulations and norms and government policies that you have to fulfill, which are addressed towards reducing pollution on the street. So you have to give priority to these issues, customer engagement. Now you can use these issues not just as a norm or a regulation that the company or the government has imposed on you. You can use it as a competitive advantage. You can use it as your segmentation. How do you segment yourself? How do you differentiate yourself? So if these issues, which are primarily now it comes under the umbrella of ESG, if you're able to use these issues without, in the terms that I understand, is without greenwashing. Yeah, if you do it genuinely and with proper focus, it will definitely help you. Then if I look at my other industry, which is steel, their emission is very important because a lot of emission happens in the production of steel, which is definitely handled a lot by the technical and the production guys. I have not been directly in production, but you need to understand their point of view. If they tell you, I can't produce this for you because it produces more emissions. You have to understand that issue and find a way how you can handle it. Likewise, product development, like you can develop products which not only reduce pollution at your end, but also at the customer end. It makes it easier for it. It makes it easier to reuse. It makes it easier for him to recycle. You know, so if you develop such products which have a longer product life cycle, or which is basically what we term as the life cycle concept, of products. So if you internalize these issues, and which are of course of very close interest to me, because I have been actually developing products in these areas. Again, when it comes to construction, there are issues like green norms, LEED ratings. How do you ensure that less water is consumed? How do you ensure that you make it zero water consumption or zero emission based over a period of time? It can't happen on day one, but let's say it happens over a period of time. So these issues we have been struggling with, grappling with all the time, since I would say, but now it all comes under ESG. Yeah. So to that extent, I have very keen interest, and this involves a lot of corporate governance, because you might develop a product which is expensive. Customer may not be willing to pay you that much, but you have to put in that effort to make the customer understand that the life cycle cost of the product is much less than the alternative or the substitute that he is using. So if you are able to make this customer to understand, and it is also driven by ESG. So if I tell the customer it is ESG, he may not understand. But if I tell him the life cycle value or the life cycle cost of the product, and in the process, you are also making your future generations safer. Yeah. So that communication is important. So I would say I have always been interested in it, and we have been addressing the issue, not only me, but as organizations and as industries. Yeah. But today it has come in with a new focus, and we have to look at it more vigorously. We have to look at it with specific targets. Yeah. It can be used for brand building. Yeah. It has to be used for profit generation. It can't be just expenses. So there are conflicts in these issues, which you need to understand and then also address. Yeah. So I hope I've made you understand the perspective, in which, though I may not have handled ESG directly. Nowadays in functional organizations, you have an ESG specialist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the concept has developed in the meantime. Yeah.
So as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
See, partly I have answered your question in my previous answer. But at the same time, since I have looked at it from the industries of steel, auto, and construction, where ESG is of utmost importance today, utmost. Even if you look at government policy today, these sectors are targeted first, because in a way they are also the ones who are producing the most pollution, but they are also required. You can't do away with these industries. So that understanding or that perspective I have, and which kind of makes me you can say, I won't say expert, but makes me understand these issues and a value. I mean, you have to understand the ESG as a concept and how it can drive or how it can benefit future generations, how it can benefit future children. We have to have we have to leave a better planet. So understanding these issues is important. So that I would say is a big value. Then ESG has a lot of technical aspects. Apart from management aspects, there are issues related to conflict management in ESG, because there are a lot of conflicts when you talk of ESG investing, yeah, or when you talk of ESG focus. Every organization, because I was involved in developing products where the management said it doesn't make sense. There is no ROI in it, you know. So this understanding is another issue which I bring on the table. Yeah, and then of course there are issues where you have to balance. Yeah, you have to have balance business and planet issues. You have to balance business and community issues. You have to balance business, planet, and CSR issues. Of course, now for CSR, you have definitive regulations and definitive guidelines how you can address CSR. But addressing CSR and community issues in a manner that it can build your brand, yeah, or in a manner that can build your business. Now, these are issues. It's not that I just give 5 crores to an NGO and tell them you spend it the way you want. Yeah, that is one style of doing your ESG or your CSR. The other issue is now, because nowadays you have specialized people in the organization who take care of it. So you can actually instruct them. You can tell them, this is how I want it to be done. Like for example, when the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan came, I was instrumental in developing, I was at JSW at that time. So I was instrumental in developing steel toilets.
Oh.
Okay. So that went with the policy of the government. It also was benefiting the consumers. And at the same time, it was benefiting the company also because it was increasing the steel consumption. It was making steel more popular. Or on the other hand, when I develop products like grain silos for effective storage of grains in the rural area, because today grains, when the farmer produces, the grains lie in one shed. There's no proper storage. There are a lot of rodents that come, a lot of wastage happens. But in place of that, you have a grain silo where you can actually scientifically store the grains. And so that is a concept that farmers will understand immediately. Yeah. If the price is down today and they're able to store the grains for 6 months, well, when the price goes up, then they can sell. So these issues they understand. So if you are able to make them understand these products, which have a CSR content, which have a ESG content, and at the same time it benefits the company and builds the brand of the company. Yeah. So these are the issues which I understand where I have been involved in. When you talk of triple bottom line, of course, there are people who have written books on it. Yeah. But I have been able to address these issues at the ground. So these are the kind of issues I would say I bring on the table, this understanding, and where I have been actually involved in implementing some issues. Yeah. So I would say that is where I can bring in my expertise. You know?
So what changes do you expect to see in your field with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, digital twin, Web 3.0, etc.?
Yeah. Now, this is a very specialized subject. Technically, it is not my area. Yeah. But since I have been reading a lot on these issues, I will try to put down function-wise, which are relevant to me. Yeah. How these concepts can help. Yeah. So basically, for me, I look at it as predictive analytics. Yeah. That with a lot of data that you have at your disposal, you are able to predict things better. Yeah. And that is basically what AI and machine learning and big data, that is all about. So let me look at various functions where you can, which are my core areas, yeah, where it can help. So one is of course strategy formulation. strategy frameworks. Now, AI can help in understanding the key success factors for strategies to become successful. So when I say key success factors, because it will be studying strategies for the last 100 years. What have happened in various industries, various situations, various economical environments, various you can say inflation parameters, various growth parameters, various geopolitical situations. Yeah. So it will be able to study all these things and come up with key success factors. Now, this is something that we could not do before because it is difficult to analyze for the last 150 years how business strategy has developed and what makes a particular business strategy more successful, yeah, compared to other business strategies which are not successful. 70-80% of strategies don't work, in corporates. So this is one area where AI will definitely help. Then if I look at sales and customer relation management, very important application I see is, see, when you go and do sales, one approach works, or I would say some approaches work, some approaches don't work. Now, if you ask your boss, tell me what approach works and what approach doesn't work, it's very difficult to answer. But if I were to analyze various successful sales strategies and various unsuccessful sales strategies with the help of big data, I can come up. See, I'll give you an example. Today, what we term as there is omni-channel communication, or you can say multi-channel communication. The sales guy can communicate with his customer through LinkedIn, through social media, Facebook and Instagram, through emails, through face-to-face contacts, through WhatsApp and all that. So he has a choice of 6 or 7 communication mediums today. All of it won't work. Some of it works, or a combination of it works. Now, if I were to crack the code, so what is the best combination that works for converting a customer through this omni-channel communication? Now, for this, I need to have big data to analyze it. Yeah? How many phone calls should I make? When should I make the phone calls? When should I go and meet him? When it is okay to do a WhatsApp communication? When it is okay to send him an Instagram message or a LinkedIn message? Now, you can't do everything every time. It has to be done at the right time, and that creates the best effect on the customer, and he converts. So this is one area of application. Another area I can look at is after sales service, which is more technical. Product failures happen in a given situation, in a given sequence of activities or usage. The same failure can have different analytics behind it, symptoms behind it. It can't always be that an engine fails because you over accelerated. An engine can fail because you didn't put oil, you over accelerated, or you didn't put enough water in the radiator, or you oversped. There are a lot of, and for that there are a sequence of activities that happen over a period of time. So an engine fails after 1 year of misuse, 3 years of misuse. Yeah. So big data will be able to analyze this. You have to have the data, of course. Yeah. And then you can come up with solutions. How I can get rid of these complaints. Yeah. So that is another important big area. Or if I look at forecasting, which is of course a very standard area where everybody looks at. I mean, sales marketing will look at forecasting sales figures, product sales figures, where you have to analyze the environment, what's happening globally, what are the geopolitics, what are the business cycles, because it can't always be growth. There is a drop. So when will the drop happen? How much will be the drop? most of the time we are not prepared to take care of a drop. When it is growing, we think it will always grow. And we plan accordingly, But there is a drop of 20%. So if you are able to predict when that 20% drop will happen, because it will happen in a given situation of environment, politics, and all that. Yeah. I would say that is another big area of using, or we can talk of project management, multifunction management, because what happens is when we are given a project to implement or execute, we tend to think, like if I'm from sales and marketing, I think I'm the most important guy. Yeah. Because the boss has given me the assignment, But there are a lot of important functions. There can be HR, there can be IT, there can be administration, there can be finance. I don't have that understanding what will make my project successful. So I put a lot of effort from sales and marketing, and I think I've done my job. But if I've not taken the other chains, the other threads, it can result in the failure. So with AI and big data, if I can analyze how much of HR has to be involved in the project, when I should involve HR, that's important. Likewise for IT, likewise for admin. Now with AI, I can get these inputs, on project management, on multifunction projects. So I see big applications in these areas. And of course, there is the IT and the software element, but there are so many things happening. I'm just looking at it in areas where I have the expertise. I see a lot of things that can happen here. And I think predictive analytics and after sales service technical aspects has already started in a big way. If you look at washing machine companies, automotive companies, they've already started doing this in a big way to be able to solve their technical issues.
So we're building a community here of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation group?
When I joined the Directors Institute, of course, it was because of good marketing that was done by Mr. Shah, That's how I enrolled myself. The good thing that I saw was you have a group of people who have good expertise in their area, and they are coming from different backgrounds, different industries, different functional areas. Now, getting together of these experts in one platform, I have not seen it happen anywhere in my career. Either you go to a seminar, you see only technical guys. You go to a seminar, you see only sales and marketing guys. So you talk their language. You don't see this kind of background, diverse background, all coming in one platform. So even when we interact in classes or when we interact in sessions, which are conducted by your experts, I am able to see various different views that come across. Like even when we analyze a case, like just last week we analyzed the case related to Cyrus Mistry of the Tata Group. We looked at another case of Z and Sony, why the deal didn't go through. Or we looked at the case of L&T Mindtree, L&T IT and L&T Mindtree. How? So when we discuss such cases in your group classes, we get a diverse set of views coming in. That itself is a big learning. So this is definitely one area. And like, for example, you're doing my I've answered your questions in the manner that I knew best. Yeah. Now, obviously, you're doing 100 such interviews. Each person is giving you a view for the same questions. Yeah. Now, if you are able to collate all this together, you know, the kind of information you have, nobody has. In India, definitely yes. I don't know globally. Yeah. So that's a big advantage that you have. And as a company, if you're able to document all this together, you can give opinions. You can give advice to industry, to government. You can probably build a good consultancy organization because you have that database with you.
Yeah.
You have to have an organization, of course, that is able to put all this together. So I would say, as Directors Institute, one, you are doing a great job at teaching us and making us better people for taking directorial positions. But the data that you have, you can use it well to grow your business, to develop your business, to diversify if required. Not, and also to develop us as future directors. So this is, I thought, a very unique place where you are in as Directors Institute or the World Development Council. And if you can leverage this well as an organization, it will really help you. So I would say very good job being done by Zishan and Sushant. Yeah. And it will definitely help them to build a big organization.
Great, sir. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will truly inspire future leaders. Thank you so much once again for joining us today, sir, and wish you the best for your future endeavors.